Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We're learning Mishnah is Erevin, Perek Vav, Chapter 6, Mishnah Dal, Mishnah 4. All right, so we've been discussing this concept of giving reshus, which I call abandoning your rights in the chutzner, or you can even do it in your house. That hasn't been a discussion, but you can do it wherever it may be. So the question is, Me'imasai noistim reshus. When does one do this? At what time? At what point of time does one abandon their right or give permission? So that's the literal translation, giving permission. Beis Shammai is saying you have to do it before Shabbos while it's still day. And if someone is, again, so the case was a guy forgot to participate in the Erev before Shabbos, okay? And there's no time for him to join, or he's not able to join. So what he does is before Shabbos, he relinquishes his rights in the chutzner. He's got to do it before Shabbos, according to Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel say, you can do it even after it is dark, even after Shabbos has begun, you can do it. Now, the way the Bartanur explains Machlokes, this argument from Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, is that according to Beis, we know there's a halacha, you cannot do business on Shabbos. And this is why you cannot do a transaction, like a kinyan, right? Transaction of ownership on Shabbos you cannot do. That's similar to business, and you may not do that on Shabbos. The question here is, when this person is mevatel reshus, when this person abandons his rights, what is he doing? What's the mechanics here? What are the halachic mechanics? According to Beis Shammai, he is giving his rights to the other people. There's a transaction of his rights to them. He's transferring his rights to them. That's a transaction. That's like a kinyan. That's like an act of acquisition. Can't do that on Shabbos. Beis Hillel say it's not. You're not transferring any rights to anybody. You're giving up your rights. And then automatically they take them over. Or let's put it this way. Shouldn't say it that way. The other should maybe say, you give up your rights. Once you give up your rights, so it's like you're not here.
It just lapses.
It's like you're not here because you're not here. Therefore, everybody else made an Erev. You know, everything is one domain. It's one domain. Everybody has one domain with their houses. And the fact that now there's theoretically a part and a part of that belonged to this person who wasn't part of the Erev, but he abandoned it. He gave it up. Okay, so does it make a difference? Like he's not here. And therefore, since it's not a transfer of any kind of rights to anybody, so it's not like a business transaction, and therefore you can do it even on Shabbos. Now, somebody who gave his permission, meaning he abandoned his rights, he gave up his rights in the chutzner, and then he took something from his house into the courtyard. No, he's not supposed to do that. Mm-hmm. The whole point of giving up his rights was the fact that he gave up his rights to be able to use the courtyard. He gave up his rights to be able to transfer from his house to the courtyard or from the courtyard to his house. And now he did it. Whether he did it unintentionally or intentionally, he now forbids the entire chutzner. He makes the entire chutzner forbidden and everybody else. The whole point was he didn't participate in the Erev. By not participating in the Erev, so now the point of the Erev was to make for everybody one reshus, one domain. But you can't do that if he's not part of the Erev. So what does he do? He goes and he gives up his rights. Gives up his rights in the chutzner. Once he gives his rights in the chutzner, he doesn't affect the Erev chutzneris. Now, what happened now is that he took something out of his house into the courtyard. That means he is basically reasserting his rights because he wasn't supposed to be taking out. He gave up his rights to take out into the chutzner, and now he did it. That means he's reasserting his rights. That means he's taking back his rights. Takes back his rights, he's going to mess up the chutzner. And according to Reb Meir, he does that whether he did it intentionally or unintentionally. Now, if the guy did it intentionally, it makes a lot of sense to say he is taking back his rights because he knows exactly what he's doing. Mm-hmm. But if he did it b'shoig, if he did it unintentionally, he forgot. He didn't realize he's not supposed to do that. So he didn't do anything that should show he's taking back his rights. Why would Reb Meir say that even unintentionally, it's considered taking back his rights and he messes up the Erev Chatzeris? The answer is, according to Reb Meir, we made a special precautionary measure. We were afraid, according to Reb Meir, we're afraid that if we allow b'shoig to say that if you did it unintentionally, that it doesn't mess up the Erev, then we're afraid that somebody's going to intentionally, and what is he going to say? Oh yeah, I forgot, I didn't realize. We're afraid that people are going to basically take advantage that when they did it unintentionally, when they did it intentionally, they're going to say that it's unintentional because unintentional doesn't mess up the Erev. Like who wants to mess up the Erev? What does want to mess up for everybody else? So therefore, because of the fact that we're afraid that if an unintentional wouldn't mess up the Erev, that people will take advantage of that, even when they intentionally do it. Therefore, Reb Meir says, no matter how you took it out, intentional or unintentional, you're gonna forbid everybody else from using the chutzner. Divrei Rebbe Meir, these are the words of Rebbe Meir. Rebbe Huda says, Rebbe Meir said, Oiser, B'shegeg Oiser. He said, if you did it intentionally, you make everything forbidden. If you intentionally took the things out from your house into the courtyard, that means you're intentionally using the courtyard. That means you're taking back your rights. And if you do that, you now forbid everybody else from using the chutzner, from using the courtyard. But you did it b'shoigeg, if you did it unintentionally, then we say that no, it doesn't forbid. Clearly you didn't mean to take back the rights if you did it unintentionally. And secondly, according to Rebbe Yehuda, we're not concerned that people will then, use unintentional as an excuse or as a cover up when they did it intentionally. We're not concerned about that, and therefore they didn't make any kind of a decree of unintentional. So therefore, according to the halacha, according to Rebbe Yehuda, which is the halacha, if the person intentionally takes out, 1 second, let me make sure I made something right here. Right. The halacha is like Rebbe Yehuda, that if you intentionally, if you're a mevatel rishus, if you abandon your rights and intentionally you then use the chutzner, took something out of the house into the chutzner, that means you have taken back your rights. Take back your rights, you mess up the erev chatzeres for everybody, they can't carry. You did it b'shegeg, you did it unintentionally, then you don't mess up anything, because when you do it unintentional, you can't say that you mean to take it back. And there is no decree of saying that we have to not allow by unintentional so that people don't take advantage when they do it intentionally. All right. Now, another thing that's important to know, which they bring down here in the notes, which is something we just previously learned, that is the following. Once the other residents of the courtyard have taken out items from their houses to the courtyard based on the abandonment, they have acquired the abandonment rights, and the abandoner cannot reclaim his rights to prohibit carrying, as we previously learned. That was part of the story, Reb Shimon Gamliel. He said, take these things out. So basically, what the guy does is he abandons his rights. Yeah, he abandons it. But he has the ability to take it back. He has the ability to take it back only until the others don't basically acquire his rights. The other people acquire his rights when they actually use their rights. When they actually use their Erev Chatzeres, and they take things out from the house into the Chatzer. So they use the Chatzer, which they were allowed to do because the person abandoned his rights. Once they actually use the chutzner, they acquire his rights, and therefore he cannot take them back anymore. Have a wonderful day.
So if he takes something out into the chutzner, what has he done? What of error has he done?